See, when you're sitting by the water, yeah, let's get a different perspective on life. Sit with nature, chilling, just holding the vibes. Got the meditation music on in the ears. Just going with it, man. Saying whatever I feel, feeling whatever I feel. You know, looking out at the expanse. Look at this. It's beautiful. Sunday, 4 days away from Christmas. It's that time to just reset and just think about life, man. You know, reflect, just chill in the moment. Literally, didn't even really have anything in particular to say, but there's times that I just be talking to myself. I turn on the camera and there's no camera, and I wish I would have said it on camera, you know. But you also have to catch them thoughts as well, where you're just talking to yourself, where you trust yourself, where you're just loving yourself, because ultimately those moments lead to this moment here, in confidence. Think about it. You know, if you talk to yourself, say, "Oh, I said some good stuff there," and then turn the camera on, you know, you get confidence from it. And that's what it's about, man. Downloads, seek, and you'll find. You know, be still. You know, what's the world telling you? What are you listening to? What can you hear? You know, you hear the birds, the water. That's nice. You know, I don't know what you do. I don't do this every day, but fortunately, at this time, I can do this. You know. So how you doing, man? What's going on for you? What are you thinking about? What's Christmas looking like? Christmas can be a really good time of year for some. It can be a really tough time of year for others. They say, seek and you'll find, right? And they also say that when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. You know, when the student is ready, the teacher will make an appearance. So that tells me that the lessons are everywhere. That tells me that, you know, it's all around to see. Ever abundant, like attainable, you know, because the world's always trying to tell us things, you know. So if it's when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Then that tells me that the student may not be ready, and obviously the student in this case is yourself, you know, or myself, in different aspects of whatever they need to be ready for. So the lessons are there, guys. The lessons are there. They're all about. They're in the world. They're abundant. They're not scarce. But whatever's going on could be blocking you from seeing it. You know, whatever's going on in your life could be blocking you from seeing the beautiful lessons. You know what I mean? Because once you realize that the lessons were there all the time, it's like a slap in the face. It hits you like a ton of bricks. Like, oh, you know, that is that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, look out for the lessons. Don't be oblivious to the lessons. Like, the teaching's there, the learning's there. There's too much free game in the world now as well, on top of that. So although the world is a tough place, you know, and although things are tough right now, and, you know, there's still peace. Like, that will never go. There's still, you know, blessings. That will never go. There's still lessons. That will never go. Those things completely stay. You know, as I watch the waves, and I just feel a calming spirit, and I just know that, like, things will be alright. And I have to tell you that. I have to say this, you know what I mean? What do you mean things will be alright? Life's hard right now. Yes, life is hard right now. And things can change. Everything has its own polar opposite. It means it swings and roundabouts, ebbs and flows, big waves, small waves, harsh waves, calm waves, some turbulence, no turbulence. That's life, you know. But as good and bad are running parallel, it's all about what do we lean into more? What are you leaning into more? What's blocking you? What's your traffic jam right now? What is your backup? When a sink, it's got water in it and it just fills up. Like, what's blocking your pipes? What's blocking your flow? What's taking your energy? These are all questions, we could just literally write them down on a paper, and they are valid questions to ask. What is blocking my flow? What is stopping me? I knew what was blocking my flow. I knew what was stopping me, but I had to work it out. Same like you can work it out, And that's why I'm here, man. Who has ears, let them hear. Who has eyes, let them see. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Imagine that. It's hold on a minute. You mean to tell me, watching at home, that when I'm ready, the lessons will be there? Yes, when you're ready, the lessons will be there. Simple as that. But you're not ready. And the reason you're not ready because you got them blockers on. You got them blockers on. Whatever lens you're looking at things through, they are blocking you. That lens is blocking you, or could potentially be blocking you. I don't know what type of perspective you're, watching this from. But we can all make improvements. There's nothing wrong with saying that. That is a valid statement. That is a sound statement. Nobody can argue with that. Nobody's perfect. That's another valid statement. That's another sound statement. Nobody can argue with that. But the fact of the matter is, we can all make improvements. The root and the stem. Young and the old. Hear me now. Young and the old. Young people are watching the grown people. But that's a nice cloud over there, Oh my days. It's a nice cloud over there, man. Give thanks. Give thanks on this Sunday, man. 21st of December. Give thanks. Young and the old. Root and the stem. The younger you are, the closer you are to the root. The younger you are, the closer you need to be, or should be, and deserve to be, close to the good nutrients, right? But the nutrients are not good. And then I come along and say these things, and the truth smacks you in the mouth, like Jake Paul got smacked in the mouth the other day and got knocked out. That's how the truth hits. So no one don't like the truth. No one don't want to hear the truth. So the truth bearer and the message sharer becomes the bad guy, or the uncool one, or whatever. The tide's just come in, It's another beautiful sight. I just noticed that. The tide has just come in. Waves at my football. Not my football, But, yeah, so the truth comes along. And when the truth smacks you in the face, you don't like it. So people like me, it's less cool to consume whatever I'm saying. You get the, oh, who does he think he is? How does he have the right to say this? I tell you I tell you why I have the right to say this. It's because I speak on experiences and things that I've been through. No one don't get it. Now, I was that child, right, that didn't get the right nutrients. Imagine that. This is why I say I teach root and stem healing, because I know what I needed when I was a child, and I now know what I need as an adult. I know where I messed up. I know where things were messed up for me. I went to a very dark place. There's no celebrating that, But within that dark place, I was able to, find wings. I was able to even re-incubate. Watch this. So I would say root and stem healing, right? So root and stem healing must come from a seed, right? This is normal stuff. I'm not saying anything amazing, you know. So from that seed, imagine being in a bad dark place and then all alone, and then that's how seeds planted. It's planted in a dark place. It's all alone, and it needs to go through that. It needs to go through that dark phase, that alone phase, that incubation phase, so it can get the right nutrients, get the right knowledge, get the right downloads, and then the seed buses and shoots take place. Then the shoots connect to the soil. This is like your neurons. This is like your neurons firing. Yeah, this is exactly what happened to me. Yeah, so the seed in a dark place, and then didn't really know what was going on here. When you're in the dark room, imagine just walking in the dark forest at night. We don't do it. We don't walk in alleyways at night, do we? Like, we look over our shoulder. Everyone does that. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm trying to say? Even if come on. So, in that dark place, and didn't know what was really happening, looking around, feeling it out, and then started like exactly what I said before. When the student has been humbled, when the student's life has imploded on him. Imagine that. An implosion, Remember I said I fucked up. I fucked up twice. Second time was worse than the first. Crucial part of my life, 28 years old, I fucked up. You remember I said that? I fucked up bad. And my whole entire life imploded on me, right? And there I was, and an implosion again is all the air being sucked out and the room just caves in, right? So when the room caves in now, what do you think? That's rubble, that's darkness, that's the seed planted, and then within the rubble now, watch this now, yeah? Like that same seed that buses and springs forth shoots. Those shoots were like grapevines within the rubble. Do you get my point? So imagine you got bare rubble on the ground, and then grapevines are kind of like, you can't really stop grapevines, in the movies and that, Jumanji and that, Stay with me, man. I'm trying to give you my deepest thoughts right here, man. This might be the realest shit I wrote so far, So within the rubble now, I started like gaining knowledge, looking for. The student was humble. The student was ready. The student literally, lost everything. Crucial part of my life. Like, come on, 28 years old. Man. Come on. Found myself in a jail cell until I'm 38 years old. Come on. The student was humbled. Student hit rock bottom. So now the student realized that these lessons are around. So now when I'm seeking these knowledge, seeking you will find, and knowing that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction every single time, right? Knowing that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction every single time I just started seeking knowledge because the student was ready, the student was humble, the student took a really big fall.